All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to a longtime bare knuckle promoter. He's got Bellator MMA experience as well, and he is currently the figurehead of BYB, readying for a big show, which is going to be going down. BYB 11, transpiring August the 27th, and great getting to have Dada 5000 on the program to talk a little bit about that. How's the day going so far, man? Busy, I presume?
Yeah, definitely. Just moving some things around, making sure that we got all the ducks in a row, to knock this show out of the ballpark coming up this month.
Yeah, and I know it's not super recent, but I wanted to wish it all the same. I saw you got inducted into the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame, so wanted to wish a quick congrats there. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. I imagine that was a big moment for you.
Definitely. A lot of individuals just doesn't know how far we've come from the backyard, and to get recognized and appreciated for the contributions that we made to the evolution of bare knuckle, it feels good, So it was a great experience for me, one that I'll never forget, and it just puts us inside of a position to say that, hey, listen, when it comes to bare knuckle, BYB Extreme, we truly make the weekends. We have the resume, we have the credibility, and nobody has been doing this as long as we've been doing it in the 21st century to be able to make the moves and the milestones that we've made, so it's an honor.
Yeah, the expansion has been pretty defined on like a show-to-show kind of basis there. So I imagine that's like a huge kind of thing for you, just coming from like the, backyard days and stuff like that. But it still has that sort of vibe to it in a sense, just like the communal and like, familiarity-minded kind of aspects of just like knowing bare knuckle to that scale. So it seems like the combination of like high-level presentation and production, but with like that same Dade County kind of spirit in a certain regard.
Of course, we're still rough around the edges, and shout out to Mike Vasquez and the team over there. We just polished it up, but it's still, backyard, bare knuckle, BYB Extreme, and like I said, when it comes to bare knuckle, we truly make the weekends. And when you look at the individuals that, played a part, some of them are no longer here. So that's a burning fire in me to really move the needle and push the envelope, to make sure that BYB Extreme, is the biggest, bare knuckle fighting promotion, on the planet. Because a lot of guys, they fought in the backyard, they bled in the backyard. They're not here at the moment. I'm talking about even my mom. Even Kimbo Slice, R.I.P. to them, R.I.P. to Tree, R.I.P. to Chauncey, R.I.P. to Jake Pressure, R.I.P. to Miss Janet. You see where I'm going with it? It's a lot of individuals that played a part in the evolution of bare knuckle that's no longer here. So that's what I do it for, and constantly creating, opportunities. Opportunities are created and they're given. And that's what we're here for, to have a platform that these guys, no politics, no preservatives, can stand on and shine and show the world that they are athletic enough to be, a professional athlete when it comes to backyard bare knuckle brawls.
And just as far as like the mighty Trigon becoming the, instantiated kind of framework for all the guys and girls to compete in there and everything like that, like when did that really start fleshing itself out? Because it seems like it's lent itself well to a lot of like high octane fights and big finishes and whatnot. Is it to create like a distinct kind of like framework as part of like the brand sort of thing? Was the shape just mindful of like the action within the fights? Like what led to the mighty Trigon?
Well, absolutely. The mighty Trigon is something special. There's nothing like it on the planet. If you're familiar with my hairstyle, these are upside down triangles. And if I'd had them right side up, it would have been easy to identify. So I was walking around with the blueprints in broad daylight and people still couldn't figure it out. And when you talk about, something as special as astrology and numerology, when you look at, the stars, the shapes, the planets, the pyramids, people are still wondering, how did these buildings get erected? What did they have helps from the aliens, so forth like that? The back of your money, you have a triangle, the Bermuda Triangle, basketball, triangle offense. The triangle is known throughout our history, as one of the most speculated, talked about, sought after shapes on the planet. So it's only right that we formulated, a forum, that could be deemed, that could be deemed superior over the boxing ring that boxers and wrestlers have always fought in, and over the octagon that MMA fighters have fought in. We're nothing like them, even though they are part of what we're doing, because before the gloves were on, they were off. So both of those, boxing and MMA, came from bare knuckle. So when you look at the mighty Trigon, it's what separates us from any combat sports promotion, and it has a 98% knockout rate. There's nowhere to go in that thing. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. And it's like a bowl of TNT. You just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. I didn't even necessarily think of like the iconography kind of aspect of it, but that is a cool part of it there for sure. And I guess to briefly touch on this, just because I haven't really seen much in the ways of like updates on it since, but I was seeing that there was a point where like Triller was getting their own triangle ring going on, and it seemed like that wasn't sitting well and everything like that. Is there any developments with that situation there? Like, is there any update on the situation with Triller and like their use of the triangle ring or anything of that sort?
Yes, we had our lawyers, to get on the case, and they're going to protect our interests and our intellectual properties at all costs. As you see, Triller did not advance another show, so that's on hold. You probably wouldn't see another, triad promotions, because we've had the mighty Trigon. It was done before. We had it in the backyard, then we made it, a patent in 2014, and we've had it ever since. So how could anybody, and we've been on pay-per-view, we've been around the globe using this ring, and it was like, people like, yo, are you guys serious? If you're going to say that you're the first ones to do this and you made it identical to our ring, like, that's not gonna fly. And we're supposed to just sit back? No. We put a lot into this patent. We put a lot into the building of a brand. BYB is the brand. Dada 5000 is the brand. The mighty Trigon is a brand on its own. It stands. It doesn't need support. You know what I'm saying? And we got it here. We're the creators of it, and it's a no-brainer. While Triller or anybody else wouldn't want to infringe, and try to, emulate what we've done. That's what we do. Creative minds never take a day off. And we are always thinking on what we could do next to wow the crowd.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it's all about, and that definitely is reflected in, like I was saying before, like the incremental improvements between the different shows. Like, it always seems like it's leveling up. Like, there's never like that lull kind of period and everything like that. And to that point with the Brawl in Doral coming up here, it seems like there's a lot of great fights and everything like that. Can you speak to the middleweight title fight in the main event there? Because I was checking out that one. I spoke to Desmond Green a little bit ago in that interview. Going to be dropping in like a written feature relatively soon there, but him facing Gabriel Fryer in the main event there. Like, what are your thoughts on that fight there? It seems like an action-heavy, high-octane fight.
Gabriel, he's a true warrior. He's undefeated so far in his tenure with BYB Bare Knuckle. They have a great, camp over there. A great manager, a great team. And so do Dez. And listen, this is going to be a true fight that, you're going to be on the edge of your seat for, because it's been a lot of trash talking building up between the two camps. Both of these guys want to rip each other's heads off, and they're going to go out there and they're going to leave it all in the ring. Dez is a professional seasoned fighter. He's fought with the UFC, he's fought with Bellator, he's fought, around. So it's like, hey, he's going to go in there and it's a regular day at the job for him. Gabriel is a legit warrior. He's fought in the trenches, and he says, hey, listen, it's more than a fight for me. This is about me, becoming a world champion. I want it better than you do. And I'm going to show the world, this Saturday on August the 27th in Doral, why I will be the best in the world, and it's going to be one fight that neither one of the guys is going to be left standing, with their hands raised, will be the true champion. It's the fans that will be the true winners, to be able to see such a spectacle, of
Yeah, two very well-matched guys, two undefeated individuals. Very excited for that one. But also the co-feature, very intriguing in its own regard, with Kalia Coroni getting out there, former pro boxer there, and everything like that, making her bare knuckle debut against Jessica Link, who has a pair of fights in bare knuckle, to her credit there. Like, how does that all come about? Like, when you have, like, a 12-3 pro boxer, for instance, some of these figures from different combat sports coming in. Like, was this a case of, like, maybe her reaching out to you? Did BYB kind of reach out and gauge her interest to come over? Like, how did that all come about?
Well, we've had our eyes on Pete Tyson, for quite some time. We had a couple conversations, and it just wasn't the right time at that moment, for her to come over, and when opportunity opened up and she had a little bit of wiggle room, we got reconnected, and we made it happen. Happy to have her over. She is a legitimate seasoned, fighter. And what makes it interesting is styles make fights, and her opponent is coming, you know what I'm saying? And like she stated, hey, listen, if you don't know who I am when I get there, after you see what I do to Pink Tyson, the world is going to know my name, you know what I'm saying, after I knock her out. So when people can speak, when they have that type of confidence, the level of fights, it matters, because that means that you've got rounds in the bank, but it ain't boxing. It's bare knuckle. Pure punching. You have to be a technician because you don't have no padding to protect your hands, and also keep in mind, the gloves are designed to protect my hands, not my opponent's face. That's why individuals can come out punch drunk, speaking slow, give an example, Riddick Bowe, Muhammad Ali, and a whole bunch of other boxers, that have gotten, taken too many hits, and you in bare knuckle, you have to pick your fights. You have to pick your opponent. Pick your punches, because you could throw a wrong punch, and if a person know how to angle their head right, you'll break your head. You will break your hand, and guess what? The fight is over. So it's not so much as head hunting, it's softening up the tissue. And I think that, that will be something that I would like to see how, and I'm going to see Kalia later today, because she's going to come down to the gym, and train, so I get a chance to chat with her. I'm interested in seeing how she will put together her game plan on softening up the body, because she has bare fists out there, and she wants to be around, it's going to be some shifting up, which makes for a great recipe for the fans and everybody in the building to see.
Yeah, and it's very curious to see these type of fights, because obviously in the sweet science, an experienced individual, but it's a really make or break kind of moment with the bare knuckle debut. I find it really goes one way or the other. Like, either it's some of these boxers take to it like a duck to water, and then others are kind of it's a little different than I had anticipated here. So it'll be kind of interesting in that sort of regard there too.
Exactly, like you just said, styles make fights. And Mayweather said, hey, you fighter, you slug a boxer, you slug a boxer, and you reverse it around, for the other way. So it's like, for me being a part of, and you box a slugger, for me being a part of bare knuckle, I've seen it so many times, man. I think I've seen individuals get knocked out in every way, possible. So for me, I can look at styles and I can be like, that may be fight of the night. And I think that, every fight on this card, all of these individuals have on a belt. They have on a belt. You can't see it. It's called pride, and they're coming out here and they feel like, hey, I got what it takes. And they're not here by accident. We have the best matchmaker on the planet, and Mel Venezuela. We have a great team, and he gives you a 50-50 fight. It's hard to bet on any of these fights because he matched them up so well. It's just one of those fight cards that you just got to sit back and just see, unless you just want to go with somebody because, that's your guy or that's your girl, And we've evolved inside of that department, and we're going to continue to evolve. Every show is going to be bigger and better than the last show.
Yeah, and to the point of evolution and just trying out certain unique kind of things. Like, it seems like the co-promotional efforts are a little more open for BYB in like the bare knuckle kind of space. Like, it seems like there's some level of crossover with BKB and stuff like that. How important is that for you to kind of have that, cross-promotional dynamic and to foster those different positive relationships with other bare knuckle kind of promotions?
Well, it's awesome because we get a chance, to grow at, a crazy pace. We have, a good format here in the States, right? Because we're known. And we have, again, the history and the credibility with projects that people have heard of all over the world. So you look at the Dogfight Project on Netflix, and they're coming of round one revived and round two again. We've had, great platforms to help get our name, out there, working with National Geographic's, Rolling Stones, EA Sports, ESPN, everybody. You can't name, a publication that has not, done a piece on us. So these things go to places that we will probably never go. So when the best sought out to deal with the best, they make it happen. And with the BKB promotion, they're the best over there in London, and we're the best over here in the States. So together we'll unite both of those, both of these countries to bring the people the best, fighters from the UK and the best fighters from the US. So they're coming here, we're coming there. We're just going to mix it up. Nobody on the planet is going to be able to touch us. They can't touch us now when we talk about accomplishments and resume, and again, we're growing. And we're getting bigger and bigger. When you look at, everything that we've done, and you look at the team that we put together, we have the legendary Mike Goldberg commentating. We have, Claudio Torres, two-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi, Benny Ricardo, Dave Ryan, a host of others, ring announcer, Big Mo. We carefully put together a super dynamic group of talented professional industry insiders. Again, Mel, Mike Bass. Listen, we just have what it takes to make this thing go. And we're doing it right, and coming into 2023, we're going to be the biggest promotion. Like, you're not going to be able to talk about bare knuckle and BYB Extreme Dada 5000 is not inside your opening sentence.
Yeah, and I saw a post a little bit ago that I thought was kind of curious and thought to get a little bit of follow-up information on it. Because it seemed like you were implying that this year you'd be taking on one more go-around. Can we see Dada 5000 and the mighty Trigon before 2022 closes out?
100%. 100%. 100%. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Actually, I'm getting my licensing and everything, done up as we speak. Well, I started it already. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm curious, like...
And not to cut you off, and when you look at it, I'm the last of that original era. When you talk about the era of the big man that really put bare knuckle fighting where it is today. R.I.P. to Kimbo Slice. And like I stated, we stayed up the street from each other. So I was there, as it all evolved. Him from fighting in the backyard to being a professional. And I seen what he did. And we had a few chats, and I told them the vision that I had to be able to create what I created, on my own in the backyard. And they just stopped back and they actually, watched this thing, evolve. So for myself, the last fight I had was him, on Bellator. So for me to come back, that's almost like when Mike Tyson, when he came back, to fight Roy Jones. So for those who were younger 6 years ago, or they were literally kids when we were doing the backyard back in '05, it's like they get a chance to come out, and see, up close and personal, what this thing is really about. Because I'm not coming to play games. Anybody in the front of me, they're going to, and that's just the mentality. I got one game that's forward. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be exciting. And, once that bug bites you, I can say one more, but once that switch gets flipped on, I may be back for a few more. And again, the fans is the real winners. The fans is the real winners, and I know how to speak. I'm marketable. You know what I'm saying? I'm original. I'm authentic. And again, you're not going to be able to mention backyard bare knuckle fighting nowhere in the world of Dada 5000 and BYB name is not in open sentence. There's no bigger comeback. There's no bigger bare knuckle fighter from the original cloth that's going to be able to do what I'm going to do. And to continue to do it to propel BYB Extreme right, into the next phase of evolution.
Yeah, that's very intriguing, and I guess there'd probably be maybe a couple different opponents being looked at right now, and probably a formative announcement or a formal announcement rather to be rolled out at a later juncture there. But would the opponent be someone from that similar cloth, or at the very least get close to it? You're saying you're one of the last remaining guys from that initial kind of era, but would you fight a bit of a bare knuckle OG? Is there a certain set of opponents that you would have in mind for that fight, or not quite to that juncture as of yet?
Well, to be honest, when you look at it, Kimbo was Kimbo. Then you had Big D, who Kimbo fought, and who Kimbo messed his eye up. He's in prison. He's supposed to be getting out. Soon. But everybody else, either they're boxers or they have the MMA, which the MMA it counts for nothing because you can't grapple, you can't knee, you can't do this. And if you're an MMA fighter and your hands is not that good, you're gonna get pummeled. And if you're a boxer again, you're gonna get slugged out. And that ring plays right into my advantage. Because I see it every day. And I know the highs and lows, and I know where I want to get you at. And either you're gonna stand toe to toe, and we're gonna bang it out. Or I'm gonna have my way with you. I'm gonna, control the narrative, and it's gonna be crazy. But to answer the question is this: it doesn't matter who I think. It's gonna be the same outcome for anybody. And I got a vengeance. I got a chip on my shoulder. And even though most of these opponents, possible opponents, one thing they got to realize, when they're talking or they see me, Dada, the promoter, that's one thing. But when I flip that switch, I'm not that same guy. I'm gritty, I'm raw, I'm up close, I'm in your face, very intimidating, and I know how to use my words like knives. They cut deep. The fight starts way before we get into the ring. And that's the element that I have that a lot of guys, they don't have. And if you look at the marketing and the promotion and the build-up on the Kimbo thing, Scott Coker told me, he was like, Dada, we sold this thing out. And it was the interviews, man. I know how to really do it now. I'm speaking to you, and I can get real passionate and turn up, But it's a difference when I'm talking from a promotional standpoint versus a competitor's standpoint.
Sure. Totally
different. So it don't matter. That's the question. It doesn't matter who it is. They're all going to get knocked out. No matter who it is.
Yep.
Never turn down a fight, never back down, never ran, never will. Most of these dudes are not willing to go out on that shield. I knew I was hurt real bad in 2016. But, the easiest thing to do was to give up, but that was not on my mind. And I said these words, this guy's going to knock me out on my diamond ring. A lot of people, when they get hurt, they get a thumb in the eye, or they're complaining to the ref. No. You foul me, I'm going to foul you back. I'm not looking to the ref for no help. I'm cut different. That's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's at the end of the day, I get excited just by thinking about it. And we're gonna go out there, we're gonna make history, on the 27th, and then we're gonna go out there to London, then we're coming back, to Tampa, and it's just something to stay tuned, because it's gonna happen, and I'm ready. I'm ready. Just remember what I said. There's nobody on the planet that's like me. I've done this in the backyard. I did it off of just creativity. team, we have built something special that I can get cut loose and just go on a tear. It's a difference, man. There's only one Conor McGregor. We see what he does. There's only one Tyson Fury. We see what he does. Only one Dada 5,000. You know what I'm saying? And the world's going to continue to see what I do.
Yeah, very exciting news for sure. A lot of intriguing, heavyweight players in BYB. And to that point, you mentioning the 27th there, like one of those fights with Josh Burns and DJ Lindeman colliding with each other. That's another one that looks like a high action fight on paper and kind of an interesting heavyweight field in a certain sense. Like it seems kind of wide open for Tony Lopez to take on a certain contender there. So who knows? Maybe the winner of this, even though Josh Burns had already fought Tony Lopez, but who knows? Maybe an emphatic win here jettisons the winner towards a title shot there.
Well, when you look at Josh Burns, he's a tough, guy. I've been doing my research on DJ Lindeman. He's been around, he got some rounds in the bank. So, that's a toss up. Josh Burns is the more physical opponent, both of these guys, they got knockout power, so that could go either way. Yes, me personally, I heard an interview, with Josh Burns, and he stated that, he's not a little kid, because the interviewer had asked, hey, so, you're fighting DJ Lindeman, if you win this fight, do you want to, challenge Tony Lopez again? And he just said it, no, he wants to go on, and do other things, whatever that may imply, but he was like, I'm not a little kid. It's not like I want to get my lick back, so I don't think that Josh is interested in fighting, Tony. He expressed that they're really good friends, but, good friends, they fight all the time in the UFC and in other promotions. But for him, he has DJ Lindeman that's looking to come and rain on his parade, but every one of these fights is matched up, and Josh, he really needs this win, and because he's coming off of a loss, and if DJ Lindeman, is coming to fight, it only takes one punch, so I'm definitely tuned in. I'm tuned into every fight that's on, the card. Because every fighter, they know I'm one step closer, to a title shot, or I'm one step closer, to accomplishing a milestone goal in my career,
Yeah, it's a very well-matched card, top to bottom, and one I'm definitely excited for. But one of the last things I wanted to touch on here in our chat, because like some people in different articles that I've seen have likened you to the Don King of backyard brawling, and I saw circa January 2021 you'd posted an Instagram photo having met Don King. What was that whole moment and interaction like there? Because I thought that was kind of fun.
Wow, I'm really good friends with Don. I used to go to his office, and we used to sit down and we used to chat all the time, just me and him, inside the office. And a lot of individuals, they have their mixed emotions with Don, right? Oh, they say he's this. Oh, they say he's that. He's a businessman. And for me to sit down and talk with him, I know what I read in the books about the Thriller in Manila. He told me the real deal about the Thriller in Manila, the Rumble in the Jungle, this, that, and the third. And he already knew who I was. And Don offered me an opportunity, and he says, Dada, why don't you come over here, and work with me. And he wanted me, to travel, in search of the next heavyweight, the next American heavyweight, And, of course, I'm flattered, but, I have my own thing that I'm doing, And for him and me to swap ideas and him to educate me on the history of boxing and the pinnacle role that he played that was similar to mine in the backyard. And, when you look at the approach, me and Don have a lot in common. You know, and that's how I pursue the game. And this is just the beginning. The difference is, you know what I'm saying, I market, I fight, I promote, you know what I'm saying, I move the needle, you know what I'm saying, the right hand that can increase the numbers to provide for better ticket rates, you know, it's not too much that I can't do, you know. And when you look at fighters and promoters all over the country, it's not one that's like me. It's just that, you know, the platforms was different. But now, you know, I mean, I'm unleashed. Free range. And I got leverage. Because I understand the business. In the backyard, and that's another thing that me and Don, you know, spoke on. In the backyard, you know, I met every low-down, dirty, crook, snake you can imagine. But I met them when the cost was low. So it was like going to school. So I could see you coming from a mile away. You know, and I already know how you're posturing up, how you're moving. So for me, I wouldn't trade the backyard experience for nothing in the world. Because time is money. And if you run into a situation on this stage now, and you're trying to figure it out, it's costing you money. Or it's costing somebody else that you know money. You know, that's what makes us such a superpower. You know, that's what makes BYB Extreme such a global superpower. You have the best of the best in every position, you know what I'm saying, that's making, you know what I'm saying, this machine run.
Yeah, it's a stellar collective for sure, and just really excited to, you know, see the next show. As you know, I've enjoyed the previous shows and everything like that. Just good to see the, you know, bare knuckle space flourishing, and BYB Extreme definitely has like a unique presentation style that, again, to reiterate, definitely something I like. And yeah, going to be checking out August 27th for sure, but I do want to be mindful of your schedule, man. I imagine you're a busy guy. I could probably ask you questions all afternoon, but you probably have other things you need to tend to. So to that point, is there anything maybe you'd want to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up, man?
Okay, well, I just want to say, you know, to everybody, save the date, August 27th in Doral, BYB 11, you know, and I often say this, every fight will be a finish. Nothing in the mighty Trigon ring is going to go the distance. And when it comes to bare knuckle, BYB Extreme, we make the weekends. We have such a great organization. And shout out to everybody, you know, that makes BYB Extreme. You know, there's too many names to mention, so I'll just say shout out to everybody that makes BYB Extreme, you know, such a great organization to work for, to work with, and to the fighters to fight on. You know, and when you look at the experience, the fighters will tell you it's not another promotion, you know, that have treated them nicer, you know what I'm saying, and has taken care of them, you know what I'm saying, from day one to the time they get back on that plane, you know what I'm saying, to go back home. So I'm looking forward to this event, you know, and again, to putting another one inside the history books. Oh, yeah, and follow BYB Extreme on all social media platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to watch all of the prior content that we've had, the last shows, etc. Subscribe to the Instagram, BYB Extreme, Facebook, Twitter, you know, and just get caught up, you know, and stay in the loop. And also the same for Dada 5000, all across the board. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed the interview, you know, and can't wait, you know, for the 27th.
Yeah, no, great having you on, man. Hopefully the first of many chats, and just, yeah, you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to checking out the show. It's a couple days before my birthday, so I'm getting a little bit of an early gift there, in a certain sense.
Awesome. Can't wait to meet you. And shout out to Don Povia, you know what I'm saying, man, doing some amazing things, you know, with BYB, you know what I'm saying, marketing, social media, etc. You know what I'm saying, for setting this call up. Appreciate you, Don, you know, and hey, again, thanks, man, and I look to see you at the event.
Yeah, sounds good, man. You have a good rest of your day. Thanks.
All right, you too, though.